Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
What's up, everybody? Peace.
Tell the truth.
All right, everybody. Peace to you. This is the Information Man. I want to thank everybody out there that's watching the program. Now, I know today is a big day because everybody's been watching what's been happening out there in Wilmington, Delaware with Umar Johnson's block party. That's been all the talk across Black YouTube or YouTube in general today. And hey, I have my ears and my eyeballs to what's happening out there. But today, I have a very dynamic guest on right now. There's a brother by the name of Red Sings the Blues podcast. The brother is dynamic. He's growing his channel. And me and him are going to have sort of a brother's talk. We're going to shoot around the breeze of various social commentary because his program is about social commentary. And so I want to bring him on, interview him. I'll probably have him back on earlier because he'll only be able to spare us a small amount of his time. I had some technical problems before going on live a lot earlier, about an hour ago. And the brother was patient enough to work with me because, you know, these technical problems with streaming, your software, these things happen. But I'm on here live. We're not going to take up all your time today, folks. We know that everybody is focusing on the things that are happening on these YouTube streets. But I want to bring this brother on because I would like people to check this brother's channel out, give him some support. And we're going to get into it. The social commentary, manhood. I want to know what manhood means to him. Why did he decide to crack open a YouTube channel? What brings him to these YouTube streets? What is his goals and objectives? Where is he sort of evolving as a YouTuber in his journey of where he really wants to be? So we're going to get into that. I'm going to ask him some of the hot topics that are going on the news today to get his opinions and see what he feels. This is his logo, a beautiful logo, by the way, I have to the left of me that you can see. And we have good folks in the chat room that are coming in. I am definitely going to call people out. We got Vasper in the house. We got It Again Media, Back to the Basics. We've got Fraud Culture Education in the house. Gloria Murray is in the house. Thank you. I know everybody is checking out Lennon, and it's okay. Do what you have to do. Oh, we got the House of X Entertainment Incorporated in the house. We got Barbie Girl Teen in the house. And I appreciate whoever comes in during this particular time. But with that said, let me bring this brother in. What a beautiful clap and respect. And here we go to Brother Red Blues. Red Sings the Blues podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Let me say that right. All right. We got you on board. I know it's been a minute. We were supposed to get together and do this a long time ago. Gonna have to have you come back for a second time, but let everybody know who you are. What is your footprint on YouTube? What are you trying to do with your podcast, brother? Let's break it down here.
All right, so hopefully I'm coming in good for you guys. I know that the audio that I have is pretty crappy. I have a Shure mic. It doesn't sound like I probably have mine on. I'm using my Mac. I'm using my MacBook, and that's what I usually use.
Oh,
Next time when we're on here, I'll use my Windows computer because I didn't know the type of program that we were using. I'm usually on StreamYard, so that's something. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm glad to be on here. Well, for everyone here, my monocle is Man Behind the Mic. I've created a podcast called Red Sings the Blues. So my podcast, I go over books, I go over videos, I go over what's going on in the world, you know. With what I want to do with my podcast, give the information to the people, man. Like a lot of guys, you know, I've seen myself here in this space called what would be the manosphere, right? And I've been in it for maybe a year and a half. And what I've seen in it is that a lot of guys, you know, they say certain books, they say certain information, right? But not
mm-hmm.
a lot of guys, you know, they don't question that sort of information. So that's what I do. That's what I get down to, as well as, you know, talk about other things, you know, like a lot of guys, you know, they want to get away from the female nature content. So I usually dabble into either politics or, you know, just certain things that go on within our society, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that for almost a year and a half, and I've cracked 1,000 in 9 months, 2,000 in like maybe a 2 month period, and then 3,000 in 1 month. I'm close to 5,000, close to 4,000 actually, but I mean, everyone says subscriber count doesn't matter. I mean, if you're growing a channel, it kind of does. But you know, just a young man that has his own mind, man. That's pretty much it. You know, that's kind of what I want to, you know, bring to the table. You know, like we're not just a monolith. You know, and especially when, you know, in today's age where a lot of people want to be a part of a crowd. You know, like the manosphere is a big crowd now, right? It's becoming bigger. But the problem is that, well, there's a lot of guys that are just, you know, trying to gain clout by just having girls on and stuff like that. But it's like, bro, there's a lot more to it. Now, not saying that, well, when I get up there, I won't do the same thing. But it's like, you know, I have a different approach to it. You know, I'll aim to always have people that are real to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll have different discussions. You know, right now I'm building my studio, and that's halfway done. You know, I've been building my studio this whole summer, so you're gonna see me not in my bedroom most of the time. I mean, I'll still do bedroom videos, but I'm gonna be doing more studio type work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Let me call out a few people if I could. We got some good folks in the chat room. We got Kate Court. We got O5, and she says, "Thanks, Chris. It's sideways for some reason." Talking about her avatar. Now Miss Murray has given me a super chat, which I really appreciate. That let me put her on the screen there, and hopefully it will show up. I got to move that above a little bit right there, brother. But I thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Let me see. We got a bunch of people in there. We got a guy from Texas. We got the guy from Texas. We got Chris CCC. We got My Life Reality is in the house. Barbie Girl Tina. Barbie Girl Tina's in the house. Helga is in the house. Just a lot of good people that are coming in the house. And I appreciate everyone that's coming in. But let me go ahead and fix something real quick that needs to be fixed on that screen so that let me fix that real quick so that's, let me see here. Give me 1 minute, my brother. And here we go. And I just want to fix the messages that are coming on the board so that they're clearly can be seen by everybody. So thank you, Sister Murray, for the super chat. Can you please explain the manosphere? Oh, that's an excellent question that she's asking. Go ahead, brother. Take it away. What is the manosphere?
What is the manosphere? That's a really good question. So a lot of guys will call the manosphere a group of men that tend to self-help. You know, a lot of men who give relationship advice or just life advice, right? Currently, right now, I wouldn't say stay clear of the manosphere, but I will say be cautious of who you listen to. You know, because a lot of guys now, it's all about beefing, talking about, you know, just how I guess you can call it anti-game or, you know, paying
Thank
for the
you for the
box.
super
It's just
chat.
like, yeah, man, it's one thing in which I don't like to get into, but what I would say, like, I guess a definite part of the manosphere in which I can actually take and give to you guys is that, well, there are guys that are out there that want to help guys and they want to give the information to guys that are, well, hurting out there, that are looking for a place to, you know, talk about their problems and try to get some clarity into what's going on in not only the dating market, but just in life in general. So I came from what was the skeptic community. I had a relationship and that went south very quickly. You know, I was 23 when we broke up, and then I found, you know, guys like Coach Greg Adams and Book of Alpharonomy and all these other guys that were currently right now bigger than me right now. And that made me want to do my own channel because, again, like I said, there was information out there, but there wasn't like a diverse group of topics that we were talking about. So that's why I came into the space, and that's why I started my channel, really.
Would you say that you're trying to take a different path, not try to be like everybody else? So for some people will look at the content and say, is it about hating? Because I notice a lot of guys have their various issues as it relates to females. I know oftentimes people are saying, you know, you have to look at the world for what it is and not for what you want it to be. You have to understand the nature of women. You have to understand what is in your best interest as a man and building yourself up. There's a lot of people who say those different types of things. I'm a person who personally believes that you learn your manhood out in the community from your uncles, your fathers, the men in the barbershop. To me, to build the better making of manhood is to be involved with men in the real world. I personally think and feel that too often we have young brothers like yourself who are getting a lot of their information from people on social media as it relates to what it is to be a man. And although there are some people who give you good information, there are brothers out there who are giving good information, but you got to swim through a sea of bad information to find the brothers that are giving you good information. But I'm old school, brother. I'm 51 years old. I grew up at a time as a Generation Xer where I learned my manhood and how I am to move as a man, because I don't think being a man is about labels. And I said this on Brother Pastel's show. We get too caught up in labels. We get too caught up in labeling ourselves, whether it be red pill, you're a blue pill, you're a beta male. I don't get caught up in labels. It's about just being a goddamn man, in my opinion. And you learn through years of experience to gain your wisdom. But I find learning from men in the community who display some of these values of what it is to be a man is where you usually get the understanding. See, I've never came to YouTube to get understanding of what it is to be a man, dating and relationships, because I was too busy spending time living in the real world, getting it from people who are actually doing it when I could actually watch them and learn in reality. Speak upon that if you don't mind. What are your thoughts about that? Because like I said, again, there are brothers who give good information on the social media, but then there's some you have to say, take it with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion. What is your thoughts?
So, I mean, if you watch my interviews, right, you know, that's why I created Red Sings the Blues, man. Because, like I said, people, I guess, try to overanalyze my name, right? Because, you know, Red's in the name, right? And I've been interviewing a lot of guys from the manosphere space, and I've recently started to look outside the space. I've interviewed Aiden Paladine. She is a 100,000 subscriber. She's in the skeptic community, what you would call it, niche, and I've been in it. So when it came down to the manosphere space, what I planned on doing, and I said this to the guys that I've been working on this podcast with, I said, I'm gonna get everybody, you know what I'm saying, or try to get everybody. And who comes on my channel, that's who I would, co-sign and listen to, right? Not because, oh, I want you to listen to them, but hey, take what they say with a grain of salt, right? Not everybody online you really want to listen to, and not everybody that is on YouTube or on social media talking about this stuff is going to be, real with you. You know what I'm saying? Again, I was going to talk about this, and I think I'm going to talk about it, but, masculinity right now is for sale, right? You see this with what happened like a couple of weeks ago with, the two duo channels, right? We don't need to name their names, but you saw that. And what you really saw was masculinity being on sale. I don't, personally think that masculinity should be for sale. I don't think you should be selling guys masculinity, right? But you can sell masculinity and femininity because, again, I believe that when it comes down to, this whole, this new era of generation, right? We don't know how to be men and be women. So, again, you have people that honestly sell the traditional man or the traditional woman, how to be that in which you should be getting from your parents or your grandparents. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, right, I don't have a course to sell. I'm not going to sell you a course. But like I said, I go to work just like everybody else. I don't just sit here on YouTube making videos. Now, I do make 2 to 3 videos a day, give or take. But I also, go to work. I have a freelance job in which I do work for commercials and theater and stuff. So I'm in the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I learn a lot of my stuff outside. I've been learning more of my, game, so to speak, outside of this space, right? But I give you guys the information and I see what you guys are going to do with it, right? If you don't, and I've seen what people do with it, right? I can read a book to people about, okay, this is what, like I've read this book to people, right? Three parts of this I read to people, right? The Game by Neil Strauss. If you want to learn about game, right? I'm going to be talking about the 48 Laws of Power, right? These are books that are taught within the manosphere, but a lot of guys won't sit down with you and actually go over the book. I go over the book for you so that it's not like you didn't have the information. I gave it to you, right? Mm-hmm. But for a lot of guys, they are there to gossip. And I've been seeing this a lot. A lot of guys gossip with various female content creators. And I believe not to do that, right? I believe in looking at a situation and not being what would be biased, right? Now, although I would like to be biased because it's easy to do that, I'm not, okay? There's information, there's a problem. But the thing is how are you thinking about it? So I've been doing just that. And what I see from a lot of guys here in this space, right, in the manosphere space, is that they would rather complain about the situation and or blame the female content creator, and the male content creator has to be defended. Now, I'm not saying any names, I'm not going to do that, but I've been seeing that, right? But until that man, right, is exposed and or that guy isn't who he says he is, then the manosphere goes after him. I've been seeing that a lot, and I've just been like, masculinity and femininity are for sale, right? Anybody can be a coach. Anybody can be a life coach. Anybody can be a dating coach. Anybody. I could be a dating coach. But I'm not going to do that, right? Because I don't have anything to give you, right? Like, I don't have anything to give you. I'm just like you guys, right? I'm no different. The only thing different about me is that I have a podcast and I talk to you guys. That's it,
Let me ask you this question here.
What's up?
And this is the question I want to ask you. You made a good point. You said that a lot of times, sometimes I've noticed this too. Sometimes people will repeat the same sort of talking points. And I've asked people many a times, okay, what are the solutions? Because as men, we are built, or at least we're supposed to be built as men, we're supposed to be built to be solution based, meaning if we see a problem, we fix that problem. So as long as we complain about what the problems are. So, for example, oftentimes you will sometimes hear guys say that the boys are becoming effeminate because they'll point the finger and say that, well, it's because of single mothers. And the only way that we can break the chain or that phenomena of some black boys becoming effeminate, and we got a society that reinforces and attacks black masculinity, is that you as a black man have to get involved. I have a brother that just came to my chat room I love dearly, and that's George Makem. He has a program called Urban Nerds Worldwide where he's mentoring and working with young people. I often have said to guys on panels, because sometimes guys will say, well, I don't have time, I'm busy. Well, if you don't have time, you can also support those who have time, or you can support an organization that can do the work that you can't do. As long as we kind of sit from the sidelines, look at the community and say, we don't like it, let it burn, let it whatever, and the boys are turning out this way, they're going to continue turning out this way if there is no male intervention. Of course, the narrative that gets thrown around oftentimes is, don't be a cleanup man. It is not your responsibility as a man to clean up the mess of another man who either didn't stay in the life of that child, or, as some would say, a woman who made a poor decision in the man that she decided to have a child with. These are all interpersonal decisions that people make. But my thing is, if we're gonna complain about it as it relates to black young males, then you have to be. My question is, how do we stop the situation when there are young black males who are innocent of how they came into the world? No one is able to ask for what kind of parent or father or not having a father that they have. You come into the world, and sometimes some of these young kids are diamonds in the rough, who that if they just get a little bit of attention, it could turn around. You're not going to save the whole damn community. You're not going to save everybody, but there are certainly youth out there that if they have the right direction, brother, you could turn them around. I deal with guys in the prison system. The number one thing that they say to me is that if I would have had a proper male image in my life, instead of the gang becoming my family or my father, they're saying that they look back and they regret either not listening to the man that was trying to guide them right, or listening to the wrong type of men, or not having any proper male model in their life. To me, when you talk about the manosphere, because I'm a member of an actual brotherhood that's been around for over hundreds of years, personally, the better building of men, and also in better building of our community, starts with our youth, starts with family structure, starts with accountability. And I understand a lot of times men will say that they feel like women don't hold each other accountable. That's the thing that separates us from women, because as men, we do hold each other accountable. And to me, that's the most important thing, because we're builders of society. Women are not builders, they're nurturers. They're supposed to nurture our family, while men are supposed to take lead by our actions. Now, I said a mouthful there, brother. If there's anything you want to critique, you disagree with, anything, go right ahead. Let me bring you right back on the screen.
No, I don't disagree, man. I guess I can add to the conversation, and let me tell you
yes,
this.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I know I'm gonna get some kerfuffle feathers up in the bunch. I don't care. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you something about this business, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. Okay, I've seen this space for what it really is now. Right. This space would rather keep men in the same space. Right. You see all these girls. You see the women coming into the manosphere. Right. And you would rather, have them there and talk about them and clown them. It's like a Colosseum battle, right? You remember the old Colosseum battles in the ancient Greece, how you would see, a man being slaughtered by a lion, and the king would be like, or this, right? It's the same thing, right? It's no different. But again, it's with the genders. In order to keep the gender war going, you have to still create a problem, right? The situations that a lot of guys talk about can have solutions, but when given the solutions, it doesn't viably go in to some guys' mind, right? What guys would rather do is still complain, right? I see this with a lot of guys. They would rather complain about their looks, the money, the status, how much game you got. It's like, bro, if you're spending a lot of time on these panels, if you're spending a lot of time on the internet, then I don't know what you're doing, right? A lot of guys like to talk about the high value and all that stuff. I don't have to talk about high value. I demonstrate that by not being online so much, right? I have a life, right? I'm 26. I have to have a life, right? So although you're gonna say like I heard a lot of guys, you know, because I told people, right? I'm in my parents' house, right? I'm not ashamed of it, but I used to live in an apartment, right? Before a lot of other things happened. And what I learned from that is, well, I have to be a lot more secure, right? Wasn't secure back then, right? And this was during college. So I learned my lesson, right? Now I'm just saving money. I'm in stocks. I'm in cryptocurrency. You know, I'm building myself back up. And I'm also building a brand back up. You know what I'm saying? Now this is a new brand of mine, right? But what I've learned through all of this, right, is that when I give the solutions, hopefully you'll be able to do stuff with that, right? But a lot of guys don't want that, right? They want to keep something going, right? If you know that women are not going to like you or not going to choose you, then why even stay there, right? Why even complain about them? If you know that a certain type of dude is going to get that woman, there are two instances in which you can do. You can learn from that guy, or you can just walk away. Guys will walk away from the situation, but a lot of guys will say, well, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. How do you know that if you don't deal with women on a constant basis? Although I make money and although I do videos, I still deal with women on a constant basis. I already know that sometimes the juice ain't worth the squeeze, but I also know that I'm still going to go for it anyway, right? But I'm a young man, so I'm going to do it anyway. But, you know, like I said, I can't, again, selling you masculinity is the one thing in which I will never do. A lot of guys want to be the solution, i.e., buy my Patreon, join my channel, become a member of my channel, and you too can learn my version of masculinity, right? That is the goal of this whole gender war, right? You can make so much more money off of people trying to figure it out than there are actual solutions, right? What I would say when we talk about single mothers, right? Stay away from them. Mm-hmm. That's it, okay? Because I don't talk about single mothers, right? Okay. I've dealt with one of them, but I knew not to do anything, right? I knew that. That's simple. I wasn't going to do that, right? The promiscuous women, I've dealt with a lot of them, right? What I've learned is if you're going to talk about a high body count, you're trying to get your body count up, all right? What you're going to do is you're going to meet those types of women, right? The same energy you want is the same energy you're going to get back. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing that I know, right? If you're going to do that, fine, all right? Mm-hmm. Everything can be solved, right, if a man thinks logically, right? But men don't want to do that. And what we're seeing now, and I'm in the entertainment industry, right, I see a bunch of dudes do the exact same thing that women want. Guys want to, I guess, what I'm seeing with this, because I'm gathering information on my channel, guys want to be treated the same way as women. Although men want to say, oh, we want to be men here, right? We want to be looked at as men. It's still the same equality type talk in which I kind of hear, right? That's why I'm not on these panels as much anymore. Kind of get what I'm saying?
Well, let me say this, brother, because while you're speaking, I'm steady looking at the chat room. I'm gonna call people out in the chat room. There's some very interesting conversation going on. You just said something that I'm on the same page with you about. I'm spending less time on panels on the YouTube streets. There are certain people, I look at the panels and I analyze everything that's going on just like you. And I decide, I pick and choose and say, is this a conversation that I want to join? Most of the beefing and some of the stuff that does go on the YouTube streets come out of the fact that you have a lot of people who have channels. And this is no shade to people who have channels like this, but it's just the truth. People who have what you would call panel driven channels, where they pretty much go live, they drop a link, a lot of people come on, and then people begin to get into disputes or disagreements. Sometimes they can become heated. People walk away coming away with, I don't like that person, and it just becomes a dysfunctional, as Neely Fuller Jr. says, a non-constructive behavior. He says in his quotes that black people should stay away from each other when the conversation becomes non-constructive, because we have so much toxins inside of us and we spill it out when we are together sometimes, depending on what your attitude is, your mindset is, and what have you. So I personally can understand what you're saying, that sometimes you got to make a decision. Is this the way you want your content to go? Is this the way you want to present yourself? Is this is who you want people to think you are? And a lot of times I have to gear myself away from certain conversations now that I don't want to either be a part of. You know, I used to be on the Sunday Rumble with on Oshay show, and I used to go at it and get emotional, things of that nature. Some time back, we had the Sunday Rumble, and that was popular throughout the YouTube streets. And when I look back on it now, and I'm saying, why am I arguing with someone who's thousands of miles away from me, never going to see them? We're not going to try to, we can't convince people to think the way we think. So it doesn't really, it doesn't give any value. I think the most important thing that you can do is be true to yourself. And I do want you to speak on the fact that you said that you're involved in entertainment. So now here you are on the YouTube streets dealing and seeing what's happening here. And I want you to give a comparison or a contrast to what you're seeing in entertainment and compare to what's here, because there's a lot of people on YouTube who are putting on entertainment and they're not being 100% real about who they are, what have you. Just like you have guys who will give you this thinking about, I'm a world traveler, I'm a this and that. And my thing is, if you're all those things, then you wouldn't even be on these platforms continuing. That's my thing I'm trying to say, brother. I don't understand how men can continue to talk about what they don't like about women year in and year out and say that they are a traveler, that they're high value, that they're doing their own thing. If you are truly doing all those things, then you would not have time to continue talking about what's wrong with women, because you would be too busy winning and too busy leveling up and too busy moving on. Because real men, in my opinion, that would be labeled alpha, don't spend a lot of time complaining about women because they're too busy dealing with the women that they want and shifting away from the women that they don't want. And why would you spend so much time talking about those women? And I understand YouTube becomes therapy. I'm a therapist, so it's therapy. It's good to talk out these things. It's good to let it all out, let people know, this is what my experience has been. I get that part of it. But at some point, you have to move forward from that and get into solutions. I'm not saying that people don't have solutions out there or have not talked about solutions. I'm simply saying at some point in time, you have to evolve and not stay stagnant. Let me do this before I bring you back on the screen, brother. Let me shout out a few people in the chat room, and let's see who we got here in the chat room. We got CC Chris. Oh, let me say Kiki. I wasn't able to pronounce it. I think it's Kiki05 that was in the chat room. Thank you. She said, go with Kiki. So I'm going to say Kiki, thank you for being here. We got Cam Rob in the house. Thank you for being here. We got It's Your Boy in the house. Okay, Kiki. We got Joy who's come in. We got Old Reliable. I'm looking over here. Let me look at my little message board over here that I got. Kiki's in the house. Joy's in the house. It's Your Boy in the house. Cam Rob in the house. Back to the basics. Chris CCC. All reliable. I said that before. We got Mrs. Murray in the house. Real Aaron Collins is in the house. We got Mr. Unimportant is in the house. People have been talking to Mr. Unimportant. We got the guy from Texas. We got Edit Again Media shouting me out. We got Michael Pratchett in the house. If I'm saying that correct, brother, if I'm not, I apologize. He says, we know exactly panels you're speaking of. They are often very disrespectful. So, and if I missed anybody, we got Red in the house. Remy Red is in the house. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. That's our UK connection. Remy says this. Let me put Remy's message on the board. I hope I'm saying everything correctly. Information man, respect and chat. Just trying to learn here. Learn from the UK. In the UK. Let me see here. Then we've got a message here from Mr. Unimportant saying, Chris CC, very much so, more than every environment extremely influential. I think people on here who spend time in building their whole brand on division should be commuted from the village, kicked out of the village. Anybody in the chat room that I have not seen, that I missed, I apologize. There's nothing personal. If I did not say your name, I'm looking at my screen to see if I missed anybody. The brother doesn't have as much time for us today. We'll have to bring him back. But let's get to that question, brother. The question of, I think you brought it up, this whole dynamic of a war between male and female. We are seeing that being played out on the YouTube streets oftentimes, my brother. And I have a problem with it personally, because we're using the word war. I think I have to ask myself this. When women talk about black men in a negative way, I always say, when they say, hey, you black men are dusty, musty, and crusty, taking a page from my man, I'm sending it in, my man O'Shea used to say that too. The question is, what black men are you talking about? You can't put us all in a box. Just like black women will say, don't put us all in a box. So when we're talking about the women and men in a negative way, who exactly are we talking about? Because I know that there's women out there that I've met personally who don't fit the description of many things that you hear on the YouTube streets. However, it does not negate the experiences of black men who actually have experienced these sort of things. I don't want to negate their experiences, but I'm just saying, too often on these social medias, we make these broad general statements and we put everybody in the box when we have black people and people in general who come from different social economic backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, different experiences, so on and so forth. All experiences should be recognized and respected, but we can't put us all in one box. What do you say about that, brother?
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been seeing that in the black sectors of YouTube, man. I mean, black manosphere. It doesn't even have to be black manosphere. I've been seeing a lot of, black men, black women division, black men saying, oh, I can't deal with black women, so I'm going to go over to the white women and other races because of X, Y, and Z. Then you see black women saying the same thing. We're going to divest and go over to the white men and all this other stuff. And honestly, it's like, I don't know if you guys are happy, with each other or yourselves, you know what I'm saying? And the thing that I can say to that is that, well, listen, I have my thing about black women. I'm not saying all of them are bad, you know what I'm saying? But I think about it like this. All women are women at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I met white women that were just as ratchet as black women. I've met black women that were a small handful that were, feminine and stuff like that. And the thing is that listen, I'm not going to put everybody in the box because I don't know everybody. I don't want to know everybody, man. That's just the thing, But when you have platforms like I'm not going to name any names, but when you have platforms that glorify white women and white men, it's like, all right, then don't talk about in the same breath. Don't talk about like, oh, black being brothers, being black brothers. Don't talk about black brotherhood, black families, black this, black that. If you got a white man or a white woman, please shut up about black issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm single. All right. Been single for 2 to 3 years. But I also know that I still deal with black women. I'm not talking about the black women that are, ratchet, but black women. You know what I'm saying? They're actually feminine. Right. And the thing that I say is, okay, I'm going to come right. I want you to come right. You know what I'm saying? That's how I deal with people. Thank you for the super chat. I give people the benefit of the doubt before I label them something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But this is just, it's gotten to a point where, black men and black women, I just think that they want to divest so bad because they don't like each other. And I guess it's been planned, you know what I'm saying? Generation after generation, we're divesting from each other. Listen, that's why I walked away from the pro-black movement. You know what I'm saying? I was a part of that movement before I left. Mm-hmm. And I was young when I was there. But then I saw a lot of black men and black women who said, we got to keep it in the family, but they're dating Latinas, Asians, and white women and dating white men and all that other stuff. And I'm saying here, like, then why are we talking? Why are we even doing this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You might as well just be like the divestment channels you watch.
Right. Can I read something, brother? I want to read what this sister's saying up here, Mrs. Murray. She just super chatted me. And peace to everybody in the chat room that's coming through. She gave me a $10 super chat, which I appreciate. She says, I wish men and women in our community can find a place of balance so we can love each other again. How can we do that? That's a very good question. But another thing I want to add to what you just said too, brother, is that you made a good point. I've never been able to understand why people who leave our community and let's say they marry outside the race. Let's say, for example, a black man gets with a white woman, a black woman gets with a white man. And then when they get with another race, they want to come back and talk shit about us. I've got a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Like, wait a minute, if you have divested and you're with someone else, then be happy where you are. You don't have to come back and throw shade at us. I also have a problem with this. I have a problem with black women or even men who marry outside their race in the same way I gave the other example. And then when things go wrong with that other race that they were dealing with, now they want to come back to the black community and tell black men how, tell us about ourselves. Or if it's a black man, now he wants to come back and tell black women about themselves, even though he was laying up with another woman of the race. I don't think people who do that are qualified to come back to our community and tell us how we should be black, how we should act. You've already made your divestment out of our community, and then you want to come right on back and then now have all this critique for us. Same thing. If you are happy in your relationship with a different race, then stay over there and enjoy what you're enjoying. But you don't have a right to come back and make all these critiques. And I get sick of that because if you've already made your choice of the person that you want to be with, why is it necessary to keep pushing criticism on the group that you don't want to be involved with? So if I don't want to be involved with black women, for example, that I deem are ratchet, not what I'm looking for, then I go for the women that I want. And I don't get too much caught up in trying to critique too heavily those women that are not the women that I want. Now, does that mean I don't have a right to give my critique? You don't have the right. We all have a right to give our critique. We have the right to our opinion, but not our own facts. And I just think that once you've moved into a whole nother ball game of your racial relations, then leave the other people alone. Don't come back trying to give me a goddamn critique. You made your choice. What is your thoughts about that, if any?
So I'm gonna say this, man, because I'm gonna hold myself accountable on this, right?
Okay.
Now,
okay.
I've dated outside my race. I've dated outside my race, and I've dated inside my race, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm 26, right? I've dealt with a few, if not, I guess 20, 30 plus women, right?
Right.
And what I've learned from this, right, is that my last relationship, she was Jewish, right? She was white and Jewish, right? White Jewish woman. And the thing that I've always said was, something, I'm going to shut up about half of the things I even talk about, right? But like I said, I never once said anything to black women. In fact, black women came up to me, right, and was asking me questions. And a few of them wanted me more because I had a white woman. And I thought to myself, that's something that I don't want to do. And, I learned this, right? I've learned this socially wise, right? If you're a black man and you have a white woman, black women are a lot more interested in you, right? I don't know what it is. And the thing, I never thought, and I didn't think about it like that, right? Because again, I'm a black man, and like I said, it's a lot harder out here as a black man to actually date even inside and even outside your race, right? Mm-hmm. It's difficult because it's supposed to be that way, right? Because first off, you're a man, and not only that, you're black, you know what I'm saying? And the thing I want to, hit home is that, well, listen, you're a black man in a white society, right? So the one thing that you don't want to do is mess yourself up with white women, right? And I always dotted my I's and crossed my T's when it came to white women. I didn't mess with them a lot, right? I've messed with a few of them, but not a lot of them. But what I can tell you is that even when I was with a white woman, I still saw myself with a member of my own kind, right? Because that's what, as a black man, that I want. You know what I'm saying? I wanna, like, even right now, I'm single, But again, I go for like dark. I go from like my shade to a bit darker. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I like my own race. You know what I'm saying? I like my own people.
Right. Let me read.
Yeah, they get on my nerves a little bit, but I still like my own people, and I still want to help. Right? I still kind of want to help, even though it's like, yeah, I don't care about people. I still kind of want to help. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I wish that this sort of information that I'm giving you guys was out there. That I wish we were having these sorts of conversations in which got 73,000 views, 10,000 views, and stuff like that. I wish I was having those conversations. I wish those conversations were had by like the age of 20. So that's why I started my channel. And the thing that I said, and I made a rule for myself, if I had a white woman or a Latina woman and she was lighter than me, I'm shutting up about black issues. But if she's not, I'm still talking about them, right? But a lot of guys and a lot of women, a lot of black men and black women who date outside their race, you know, I'm not saying I don't respect you. I just don't respect the things that you're saying, right? If you're about black business, keep it in the family. All right.
Right.
If you're about black relationships, I don't care about black love, but if you're about black relationships, be about it. Then demonstrate that you can get a black woman. Demonstrate that you can keep a relationship together with a black or a black man. Please do that, because again, it's like, well, if we're talking about black issues, if we're talking about all this black stuff, then we got to be black. You know what I'm saying? You got to demonstrate to me that you're black. But a lot of people don't want to do that. My co-hosts have been black. I mean, yeah, I have a light-skinned Hispanic, right? But again, you know what I'm saying? All my co-hosts have been black. Most of my interviews have been black. You know what I'm saying? I haven't got up to the white people yet, but you're going to see me up there, all right? My channel's been growing. I've been getting some eyes from white people. I'm not saying that they haven't emailed me. I'm not saying I haven't emailed them. But yes, I've been up there, all right? And the thing about it is that I'm still going to be the same way, right? I'm going to still keep talking about the issues. And not only that, like I said, I go out, I look for, you know, my shade and darker because, again, I listen, I like black women. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. A lot of guys on the internet will hide behind an avatar or a black screen or an anime avatar and say, I don't like black women. You're going to see me on camera, right? I'm going to say to you guys, listen, although I got my problems with black women, right? I don't hate all of them, right? I just deal with them, okay? I just deal with it. I just learned how to deal with women because me personally, I've had mentors, right? I have a mentor in the entertainment industry. I've had mentors when I was younger, right? Mm-hmm. All of them were black. So with that being said, I keep it a buck. I keep it 100 with you. I always make sure that I support my brothers, and I always make sure that I stay within my vicinity. But because I'm getting bigger, I'm going to stay in my vicinity, but I'm going to also start rubbing elbows with the white people. Because again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I get some money from the white people more than I do from the black people. Now we talking about black businesses. We talking about staying together, being brothers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let me say something right here. We got a few people that have come into the chat room. Let me read this from my brother Jay Sean. He says, Ray Sean Random. He says, all this racial showcasing is whack. Black people want to anti-gloat each other. We want to sort of shock each other. It's a phenomenon. It's a plantation politics as usual. Let me just say this. On my channel, folks, I'm going to have all different types of guests. I'm going to have all different types of opinions. Some opinions that you may not agree with, some opinions that you will agree with. Now, I think it was Rob Cam or whoever that was in the chat room who tried to say that I sounded like I was Candace Owens. I don't understand where the hell that is coming from. We're having a conversation, and I basically said, and I don't know, I basically said that personally, I just think when you date outside your race, when you are involved with another race, oftentimes you have people when they go outside the group, they want to now critique the group that they left. And I have a problem with that. And I also have a problem with people who they spend all their life with another group and then they want to come back into the black community and tell us how to be black. I do have a problem with that. That's all I said. and that's what I'm going to stand on. So this isn't about this. We're having a conversation, and we're putting things on the table to look at, to examine. Not everybody's going to agree, and I want to thank Jay Shine for the super chat. He gave me another super chat. He says here, every group keeps the problem in house. These divestors are displaying the very dysfunction that they complain about. The plantation politics is what he's saying. We got Nikki Proctor in the house. Jasmine is in the house. AC Star Talk Radio is in the house. What's up to you, brother? Good to see you here. I'm just seeing if I miss anybody. Michael Pratcher is in the house. Pritchett is in the house. Sorry about that. Back to the basics. Nabath, if I'm saying that correct. Everybody, Remy, Red, anybody and everybody that super chatted me, I appreciate that. Let me just say here as well, I'm definitely not what they call a swirler. I like black women. That's what I date. That is my preference. And like the brother said, there are some black women that are going to give you the blues, and there's some black women who have not given me the blues. And I'm going to say it like this. And I think you said this, Brother Blues. You can find women in any race, just like you can find men in any race, ladies, that can do something that can trigger you, that can do something to make you say, I don't like that. You can find fuckery, as they say, in every group. That's why this is why I don't like the black, female, male war or battle of the sexes, because every group has its problem. If I'm not mistaken, it was white men who created this MGTOW movement. Am I right about that, Blue?
Well, I mean,
there's some say that was a black man, but for the most part, the MGTOW movement is pretty much run by and operated by white men. Wrong or right?
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's wrong or right.
No. What I'm trying to say is a good majority of white men are the ones who take lead in that MGTOW movement. They are the bigger content creators are white, right? And they're white. Yeah. The point I'm saying is you have white men in this society who have gone MGTOW, saying that they're going to go their own way from their own white women. So if white women are so perfect, well, that's because no, good. No, I was going to say that if because you have guys who will say, divest and go for white women. You got guys on YouTube who push the whole narrative about be with the white women, even though white women are the ones responsible for getting black men hung in this country historically, even though white women are the first ones on the front line to attack us in the school system by calling us hyperactive and all these things that lead us to the prison pipeline from the school level. Even though they attack us in all those areas, like Emmett Till, the woman who lived many years before she died just now, by accusing a black man. We have dudes that will say, well, white women are the way to go, but you have white men who have problems with white women, which is why some of them have gone MGTOW. Some of them. Yeah, I mean, for me, and I think we should do a part 2 on this because I gotta get ready for my interview with Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Yes, sir. Him. What I'm gonna say to that is, well, I never even got that, man. It's like, bro, all these guys are talking about MGTOW, and then you got like the worst of them all is incel, right? I'll never understand it, right? Because I see a lot of white men with black women right now. So I'm saying to myself, wait, you guys are still like the dominant race, right? You guys are still like you make up more than us, right? And you're having problems with women. But I've seen a lot of white men. Okay, I've seen it a lot. I've seen white men talk about women, and I've seen white men not even like white people are not having sex. They're not even having kids nowadays, right? That number has been rising, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the MGTOW movement, the red pill movement, be like this with white people, right? Because they're not having sex. It's like 1 in 4 people are having sex right now, right?
Like, you have a lot of these white dudes that are becoming incels, and I don't see how when black women are literally lining up for white men, right? They're literally lining up for them. Which I don't get, but I'll never understand. But hey, to each his own. But when I look at this, right? When I look at this whole thing, it's very interesting because even I'm like, when I see all this, when I see all this divestment from like when black men talk about white women the same way that they talk about black women, I'm like, I would proceed with caution because I've been with these white women and I know what they're capable of, right? A lot of guys don't like to say that. They don't like to tell them about like the ways that they can really screw you up because again, white women were the start of white feminism, right? And they were the ones that, again, men co-signed on that, right? And for generations and generations, it didn't get to the black sector. It didn't get to us until the 1960s, right? It didn't get to us until, not the 1960s, 1950s, right? It didn't start until the hippie movement of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, right? Then black feminism started to take hold, right? And it wasn't, and guess who started that? Gloria Steinem, right? So with that being said, it's more or less to me, right? How can you join a movement that was already built by white people, right? How can you do the same thing that, like, I can see white women doing that, right? Because again, they're the ones that are in this country. This country belongs to them. I mean, on documents, right? This country belongs to them on documents, and I'm not trying to say that, black people are inferior. No, we're not. We got some power too, and we have the power to say no. We have the power to turn the TV off, not give our money to people. But again, we want to follow the Western culture so much, right? To the point where we've been used as guinea pigs for so long, we don't understand that, right? Mm-hmm. You can talk about feminism, but you can also talk about this, right? Now, I'm not saying that the manosphere or feminism doesn't have its place in the world, right? But it's gotten to a point where it's like, I hate women, I hate men, I'm not going to get married, I'm not going to, to the point where we don't want the response. We want all the benefits of being a man. We want all the benefits of being a woman, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about us, but women want the benefits of being a man, but not being a woman. Women want the benefits of being a man without having the consequences of being a man, which is accountability, which is having solutions, which is being rational, which is all this other stuff, right? So I see this and I'm just sitting here like, nah, I'm cool. I'll have my solutions and whomever comes into my territory, that's who comes into my territory. That's what I do, right.
Well, let me ask you this question because I have a sister in the chat room. I think it's Jasmine. She's in the house, and she said that as a person who has dated outside my race, let me see this, outside my race, I can say I don't experience the way some black people have experienced. But she also said that she doesn't believe that all black women are lining up per se for white men. Let me just say, from my vantage point of what I've seen in my years living, I don't think that black women are necessarily running to white men in large droves. I think there are certain black women that are attracting white men, that are looking for white men, because we know that women usually are looking for stability, someone who can provide, and they want to build a family. So I've known black women who have tried to be with black men. Things didn't work out. And at some point in time, they tried with another race for whatever the reasons that they did that. They did what they did, and then they ended up married or what have you. A lot of people in the chat room are saying that you love who you love. You're going to be with who you want to be with. But what I was saying earlier is that oftentimes when people are with other race of people, then they somehow still have something negative to say for the race that they're no longer with in a more intimate or in a marriage. Are black women running to white men in droves? I don't know what the statistical numbers are on that. Maybe you do, my brother. But I can say this because for a long time, I remember growing up hearing sisters saying that, where every athlete is with a white woman or every black man that's successful is marrying a white woman. We've heard that before. But however, if you go into family statistics and you look at marriage in this country, when black men get married, when we do marry, the majority of the time we are marrying a black woman. There are actually more black men who are actually married. So this whole notion that black men are not looking for marriage is not true, because when we do get married, 9 and 10 times we are marrying black women. Then there's another percentage that does not want to marry black women for whatever the reasons are. And it causes these dynamics where people begin to say, well, all black men are doing this or all black women are doing that. I just simply say that's a fraction of people who are engaging in those behaviors and some that are not. So I just look at it like that. It's a balance of those that are and those that are not. And I know this is not a very popular conversation we're having with people right now and today, but that's what I do on this show. I bring different people on, talk about different issues, ladies and gentlemen. Some topics you're going to like, some topics you're not going to like. But let me ask you this, brother, before you go, because I know you have the other interview with Dr. Johnson. I know he's out of Fresno. He teaches at Fresno, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Fresno thing. I'm familiar with him. I've been down to Fresno many times before in the past. Let me say this to you before you leave. The issue of marriage, you know, there are brothers out there on the social medias that say you shouldn't get married. A man's going to lose all his wealth. What is the benefit of marriage for men when women get all the benefits? If you get a divorce, they can take alimony, they can take child support, which you should be paying for your goddamn child anyway, brothers, regardless. But a lot of guys are saying don't do it because it's a lose-lose for us as men financially and everything else. What is your opinion on that? Because remember, marriage is the foundation of family. That is the structure that we have been raised under. There are successful marriages out there. I don't want guys to be scared about this thing called marriage, because there's some people who didn't have a good marriage or they got a divorce, because you're not in their shoes. You don't know what he didn't do or what she did to him. You don't know the truth of what he did. You don't know the truth. So that's why I don't tend to listen to a lot of guys saying don't get married when I don't know the real true story. However, I have to admit, women do tend in general to win in divorce when it comes to divorce and marriage. Go right ahead, brother.
Hold on one second.
So let me see if whenever the brother comes back in. So as I was saying, folks, that is some of the thoughts that people do have about marriage. Let me bring the brother back in to get his thoughts. He's saying, give me one more minute. So everybody, I appreciate everybody coming through. This wasn't the most, I know this is a very hard conversation for people to want to listen to. You know, some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. I understand that. I'm simply trying to bring up a conversation here and examine it. And let me see, is the brother back on now? All right. So everybody check this out. There's a possibility that I'm going to come back on tonight and I'm going to talk about Larry Elders, because I want to further expose Larry Elders for some other issues that I want to get on his behind about, some things that are going to blow you away. You remember Larry Elders said that that the slave owners should also get reparations as well. I'm going to really jump all over the Larry Elders issue again on the first channel tonight. But let me bring the brother back over and let him make his statements before he gets on out of here. What's going on, brother? I know you got to get ready to go, but the marriage issue. What is your thoughts about the marriage issue?
I'm going to make this quick. But when it comes down to marriage, man, listen, I'm not saying don't get married. I'm not saying do get married. But like I said, a lot of guys will take information from guys, don't get married, but they're in whole ass relationships. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, you can, I say deal with the same way that you would want to deal with women, deal with them accordingly, right? Don't give them the ring if you already know who they are. You know what I'm saying? If you know who they are, then don't give them the ring. That's easy for me, right? I know what kind of women are, you know, hold on a second. I know what kind of woman that I want to deal with. So with that being said, I already will, you know, deal with women accordingly. So with that being said, I guess we should have a part 2 about this because I actually have to go. So
Okay.
I will definitely be talking to you again. Let's set this up again, all right? I got to go, so I'll see you later, all right?
Oh, no problem at all, brother. No problem at all. Thank you for being here. Let me entertain some of the thoughts in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. Someone said something that I thought was interesting in the chat, and I want to get that back up here. Said that, let me see, I think it was Patty D. Patty D said this. Let me read this. Patty D says this: only time a woman will get half is if they are married for more than 10 years. By then, you both are vested in the marriage. But not only that, Patty D, it depends on the laws in the state. So before you get married, men, women, you should always understand the laws in your state. In California, a woman can get half if you're in California. Every state has a different law, and you have to understand the laws in your state as it relates to divorce court. This is another thing I got to tell men out there, because a lot of times you have some men that will say, hey, I'm getting raked over the coals when it comes to child support. If you do not have 50-50 custody or full custody of your children, and the woman has already filed for the full custody, then obviously you are going to end up paying more in child support because the woman has the child full time. As a man, you should be trying to get either full custody or you should be trying to get 50-50 custody. If you have 50-50 custody, then you won't get raked over the coals, because 50-50 custody or full custody gives you the right as a father to be able to say, I don't want my child leaving the state. So the woman can't do any and everything that she wants to do when you as a man have gone to court, filed all the proper paperwork to get to 50-50 custody and take control of your situation. So if you do not have the 50-50 custody, gentlemen, and the woman has full control, then all rights will go on her side. But you have to be aware of the different laws that play a role in the state that you live in. Turn that up a little bit. I had that down a little bit. You need to be aware of how the laws work in the state that you are living in. Let me see what other people are saying in the chat room. We got Joy in the house. We got Kiki05. Why are you planning on getting divorced? I'm not planning on getting divorced. Matter of fact, I've been divorced for about over 12 years. I have 50-50 custody of my child. And when I got my divorce, it was not a volatile divorce. It was a very communal situation. We both agreed that things weren't working out, and we moved in our own different directions, but everything was very civil in terms of the divorce and what my role was. From the very get-go, I took control of the situation and decided that my child was going to be in my life. I'm going to be there every step of the way for my child, economically, emotionally, and spiritually. Children not only need your financial support, but they need your spiritual support, your emotional support, your nurturing as a father, and then, of course, it needs your financial support. So I think any man who does not take care of his obligation for his child, to me, is not a real man. That's just my opinion.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
I think you got to take care of your obligation. Now, everybody, I'm going to say this very fairly. On my channel, there's going to be topics that you're going to definitely gel with. There's going to be topics that you say, I don't really agree with this. Because when you have a channel like I have, where you bring guests on to talk about various issues, that's what it's all about. We have to be able to talk about the unpopular topics for us as individuals, as well as the popular tactics. And I know someone sent a message in the screen today saying that give Umar respect. Umar Johnson had a block party in Delaware today. It was not a celebration for a school being open. It was simply a block party where people came there as vendors, sold their goods. He brought the community together, those that were there. They sold goods and services, which is good, but it did not break the mold of saying the school is opening right now. He has no students. He has no faculty. There is no plan that we know of at this moment as to what's going to happen with this school. What he simply had was a block party. One of the things that I noticed that is sort of interesting to me is that people are now going to rally behind him because he had a block party, when we know damn well that it's easy to get black people to come out for food, dance, like electric slide, how old that damn dance is. Okay. Old as Medusa. I was doing the electric slide back in freaking, what is it, 89 or 95? I mean, I was doing it way before. It's funny. He had a little podium out there. He gave a speech. It was a feel-good day, and it did bring business people together who are selling African or Pan-African wares. It's all great. But the question is, after all that fanfare dies down, you still have a school that has a problem. You've got water damage inside that gym that he didn't want to show today. You've got all types of problems that are still going to be a reality. So no dancing, no music or speeches are going to clean that all up. So even though he had this block party, now people are going to come out and make it seem like, okay, see, Umar Johnson, he had a goddamn party. He didn't open a school. It wasn't a grand opening for a school. There was no tour of the school. There was no workable classrooms. There's no workable water running up there, what have you. You don't have functional buildings. He hasn't even changed the name on the buildings to the FDMG school. So what are you celebrating other than the fact that he had a block party that goes on in black communities all across this country? And to be quite honest, you can always get black people to come out for food, dance, and laughs. Any damn time of the week, any day of the week, you can get black people to come out when you're offering them food, music, entertainment, and dance. And then you get some black vendors together who are selling various African goods and beads and incense and frankincense and shea butter. What's new? This is done all the time. You can go to any community where black people live across this country and you will find such gatherings like that. So for those of you out there that are big Umar supporters, he did put on a successful block party, but the block party's got nothing to do with the school. Matter of fact, you can make a bigger argument that the money that was spent on that block party today should have been better spent on continuing to try to get that school up and running. And on top of that, Dr. Umar has got to stop turning down help from people who want to help him build that school, who he has turned his nose up to or turned his back on when they have reached out saying, I can fix the HVAC for you. I can do the plumbing for you. It's obvious that he has plumbing in that school and in that gym, which is why they didn't want a lot of people in that gym today, because there's water issues. That's why the gym floor is buckling underneath, ladies and gentlemen. There's serious problems there. So that's my commentary on that part of the issue as it relates to Umar Johnson. And he had a successful block party. We're going to give him that respect. He had a successful block party. But the question is, what's next? Because block parties are not really what people were giving him money for. They were giving him money through donations like I did at once upon a time ago, because we want to see a school open, not have block parties. And you ask yourself, what are we dancing and partying for anyway? We got a lot of problems that we got to fix within our communities, with ourselves. What are we really dancing and partying for? I think this event would have been more powerful if it was a block party because the school is open. And if that was the grand opening day, that would have made this more significant. Other than that, it was just your regular garden variety block party, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I have to say. Let me see who else is in the chat room. We got Jasmine saying Umar Johnson is a classic case of charismatic leader syndrome. Charismatic leadership. Break that down a little bit more for me. I've never heard that before. That's very, very interesting. We got Brother Michael Pratcher's in the house, says the money for the party should have definitely went to the school. The same swag issue in the gym. Yeah, right, Miss Murray. We've got Minister Key, a.k.a. Extreme, in the house. Let me say peace to you, brother. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming over. I believe I'm subscribed to your channel as well. And he comes in the house and he says, congratulations, great stuff. He says, correct. Yeah, I'm going to say that Umar, and I'll give him a clap for this, Umar put on a great block party. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But the block party doesn't mean anything in the long run if it does not translate into a school for which people gave him money for. And our last accounting was $750,000 that came out of his mouth. This is what I think is going to happen. I think that the city of the state of Delaware, Willington, is going to take the school from him. One, because he has to pay the taxes, and those taxes are going to be due soon. Two, because the work that he needs done on that school is going to be in the millions of dollars. He's already refused the help of people who are prepared to give him HVAC and prepared to do stuff with the plumbing. I did a whole video about it a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. A week ago, yes, or so.
Tell the truth.
He's going to say that the school is going to get taken from him because of the tax issues. Then Umar will run and say that I could have had a school open if it was not for you Negroes. He's going to blame it on black people and say that black people are the reason why the school's not open. Then he's going to blame it on the white man and say the white man took the school from me because you musty and dusty Negroes didn't give me enough money to get to fix the school. That's what he's going to say in the end to save face. You've already heard Umar also make statements about how when the school is up and running, he would have to leave and run to Africa. Why would you have to leave? Why would you have to run to Africa? He's always saying, I'm going to build an FDMG school in Africa. First of all, build the first damn school in America first. Why are we talking about Africa? Why are we talking about other places when you haven't even got the first one off ground? Another thing that I want to give people food for thought to think of about this situation is that you still got to pay for faculty. I said this on my last video. You still got to pay for teachers. You still have to pay for school therapist, unless he's going to be the therapist and the principal all rolled up into one. You still have to pay for security, hall monitors. You have to pay for janitorial services. You got to pay for food services. Are you or are you not going to pay for the food to feed the kids? You have to pay for a certified RN nurse. That costs money. You can't pay people that kind of money off of donations, not off of Cash App donations. You have to get bigger, and I mean bigger donors involved in that. Then I know he talks about having a boarding school. Where are kids going to sleep? That's another question.
Tell the truth.
Where are they sleeping? What's going on, QT1? Where are they going to sleep? These are the questions that we have to ask. I want to thank everybody for coming over to the program today and being a part. I'm about to get ready to get off, take a break for a little while. I'll probably come back on later on tonight or later on this evening and talk about the Larry Elders. I want to get all over him. I did a video on him on my second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. But after hearing his statements with Candace Owens, it's funny that someone had the nerve to say that I sounded like Candace Owens. That's laughable to me, to say the least. I want to examine the conversation that he had with her about saying that white people deserve reparations. Here you got a Negro who's not for reparations, but yet has the audacity to say that white slave owners deserve reparations for oppressing us. And tonight, when I go live on that live stream and break some things down, you're going to be very surprised. The fact that Larry Elders doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, because I got the information, I got the data to shut his mouth. Thank you, everybody, for joining the program. We got Afro that came in, Kiki for coming in, Minister for coming in, the Minister, a.k.a. Extreme, who came in. We got Sleek Minister, who came in. The Hawk is in the house. Chris CC is in the house. Mr. Unimportant has come in. Everybody that's come in, I know, just so you know, I understand that people, with the guest that I had on, the conversation that we were having, I know that there were people who who agreed with some points and disagreed with others. That's okay. I don't expect you all to agree with everything that is said by people on my platform when I interview someone. I don't agree with you. I don't believe that you should agree with everything that I say that you fundamentally disagree with. That's okay. We can have difference of opinions, different thoughts. It's okay. It's important for us to have dialogues, even if they're very unpopular dialogues, about issues that are very sensitive. It's very important. I call myself the Information Man Show. I got to give you different topics some of them are going to be polarizing topics. That's part of the show, part of the program. Anybody that I didn't shout out in the chat room, I wanted to say I'm going to shout out you out. We got Gloria. We got Miss Murray that's still in the house. Who else is in the house? Let me look at my other system here. I don't want to miss people. I don't want nobody saying, hey, you didn't shout me out, Info Man. I want to shout everybody out that I can. Okay, we got Mr. Unimportant who says, damn, over 10 years, another generation that will have to go through more hoops because this guy didn't follow through, talking about Umar. And we got Chris CCC who's saying, I enjoyed the show, Information Man. Thank you. Thank you. QT1. Yeah, I don't want him elected. And after I show y'all what I'm going to show you tonight. So check this out, everybody. Let's make a deal here. Everybody that's in the chat room right now, come on back. As soon as I end this, I'm going to go right back into the YouTube studio, start putting together the next stream for later on tonight. And then I want you all, it's the weekend. Come on now, everybody. I'm going to get that stream all set up, and then I'm going to go live again with the whole full bells and whistles. I'm going to go live again, and then I want y'all to really hear what I'm saying about Larry Elder. I'm going to put up some information as it relates to the law that's going to blow you away that you may not be aware of when he says stuff like the white slave owners should get reparations. I'm going to show the clip of him talking to her about that. I'm going to give her critique. And we cannot elect him in California. This is a very dangerous man. Very dangerous. I'm not saying that Greg Newsom is any better. I'm not saying that politics is a clean game, but I just don't want Larry Elders getting anywhere near it. Oh, because in California, we have a reparations bill called 3121 Assembly Bill. And if he gets into office, he's going to get rid of it just like that and break the committee up. That's going over it. Miss Murray again super chatted me. And wow, thank you, my sister. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let me go ahead and just give you the super chat music before I get out of here. And here we go.
Tell 'em run it on. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it on. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it on. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely.
Thank you for the super chat.
Baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, I'm down.
Thank you for the super chat.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
But first I tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this tell 'em run it off.
Thank you for the super chat.
No rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I tell 'em run it off. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried.
All right. All right. We got the minister in the house. Good to see you here. I might call. You say I might call in tonight on Larry. Okay, brother. You know what I might do? As I might either turn my phone lines on, or I could send you a, I might open up, I might put a link in there for you to come on board and join me. We'll see what happens, brother. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to see what Honors is doing. I know he's talking about the whole block party situation. I'm going to get off of here. I'll come back tonight and do the stream about Larry Elder. This is going to be my second video about him. I did one on my first channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. So check that out if you haven't subscribed to the second channel. You'll find that second channel on my page in my first channel. I'll come. But what I'm going to do tonight is going to be more raw, more in your face about Larry Elders, because after the stuff that I found out, based on the goofy stuff that he was saying when he was talking to Candace Owens, how goofy he was, is definitely going to put a crescendo on shutting his mouth up. So everybody in the chat room, it's at It Again Media. Back to the basics. Mr. Unimportant, the minister's in the house. Miss Murray, thank you for the super chat again. I really appreciate that. We got RRYY in the house. Chris is in the house. All of you that are in the house, I appreciate you being here. Hawk, everybody that's here, thank you for being here. Let me get ready to get out of here and make it do what I make it do, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. Peace, everybody. Thank you.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tempo, can you keep up with my tempo? Yeah, blowing up, C4. I just hit the Mike Jackson on my tiptoes. Oh yeah, I know we go wherever that wind blows. The endo. Don't slip on the trail. Don't slip on the Don't slip on the trail. High key, I know. I send all of my rap foes like they my tadpoles. Yeah, yeah. Blowing up, I just had to go crack now on my Depot. Yeah, yeah, that Draco, bustin' like free throws. I do not miss no shots, I got the cheat code. That's why I never lose. They can't predict my moves. I'm way too smooth, I just caught a groove. This right here, that jars are the fire in the booth, yeah. Had to go right back to it. If you ain't talking about money, please save your breath, don't bring it up to me, yeah. I pull up and I stunt like a 007 James Bond type movie, yeah. Hey, don't slip on the trip. No, 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 no. Don't slip on the trip. Don't slip on the, don't slip on the, don't slip on the, don't slip on the trail. Tempo, tempo, you keep up with my tempo, tempo.